Session 4, we're talking about activating the truth wall. Talked about the truth wall last week. How do you use the truth wall? How does the truth wall actually become a tool to help shape the way that I think? And why is it important for me to begin to reshape the way that I think? Anybody? 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 Based on what we've talked about so far, why are our thoughts so important? Anyone? What do thoughts lead to?
Interpretation.
Okay, our thoughts lead to our interpretation, and interpretation will lead to
Beliefs.
our beliefs.
F.
What's F? Feelings.
Feelings.
Yeah, thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to beliefs, beliefs lead to actions, and actions lead to results. So, the reason why our thoughts are so important, the way that we think about things, is because our interpretation, our thoughts, will lead to the way that we interpret things, and our interpretation will determine how we respond to it. It's a perspective issue. And if we are improperly interpreting something, then it will cause us to react in a certain way that may or may not be helpful for us. So a lot of times, well, I'm just doing the best I can. Okay, well, keep doing the best you can all day long, but until you change the way you're thinking, the best you can is always going to be jacked up. I just came out a little strong there, sorry about that. Well, I'm doing the best. I don't care if you're doing your best, but your best is too bad. Your best isn't helping. I don't want your best, I want different. Well, I can't do any different. Exactly, because your brain is still stuck in an old way of thinking. We've got to expand the way that you think so that we can expect new outcomes. Fair enough? Okay, so based on that, we've talked about core values here in the shop. These are our core values. Here's how we want to be thinking. Has anybody over this last week had any challenges with the core values, knowing that, okay, here's a core value, but man, I just really don't want to improve Ashley's life right now. I really want to limit her life. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It doesn't have to be about Ashley, I'm just using that as an example. Anybody had any opportunity, in the store or out of the store, to have this go on? Talk to them.
I always do. My parents live across the street, so.
It's always that opportunity. Yes, parents living close by when we are adults can always create that opportunity. Anything else?
I had multiple opportunities with patients yesterday. One in particular where their quality of life was not as good from their glasses, and it was absolutely not our fault, but just bit the bullet, went on.
Cool.
Made it a
Somebody
teaching
at St.
point.
Person, that was extremely rude to me when I walked him out of there.
Really?
Could have been. Could have been.
But finished that up strong with something funny. Didn't even didn't say what I wanted to say.
Which is always best. Which is always best, you know, especially when there's things that we want to say that we probably shouldn't say. So these are wins, what we're talking about right now. Based on the stuff that we've been talking about, what are the wins? So, last week we talked about building your truth wall. Discovering truth. I appreciate your words as you came up. I was not necessarily going to be the one to breach that, but I have similar beliefs as Kyle, as there is an absolute truth. There is a truth, capital T truth. And then there are a whole bunch of other smaller case T's, smaller T truths. But there is one absolute truth, and that's an anchor for me. And everything that when I'm looking at the world, at where truth is going to come from, I'm using that anchor, as opposed to just using social norms, or what's popular on Facebook that week, or what my parents may have said, or what my third grade teacher had said, or something like that. I have that anchor. So for you, again, it doesn't necessarily, I'm not really going to focus on the source of truth right now, but how did it go with discovering truth for you? Did you write anything down? Did you write anything down, Ashley? Oh, so it's a think about question. I thought it was a yes or no. Did we write anything down?
About my truth?
About the truth. What have you discovered as truth about you? Did you write some things down?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Did you write some things down? Write some things down? Good. So everybody has written some things down. Okay. Fantastic. So that's a win. Congratulations. And we're doing our homework. How about this? Anybody start reading the book? Read the intro. You got to know me really well right there, Clay's in the closet. You know, man, that was a highly pressurized. I mean, as you can tell, wheels were coming off of my life. And the way that I thought about life, my brain was not big enough to process what was going on in my life. And therefore, I ended up in the closet terrified. You know, has anybody maybe not actually ended up in the closet, but you felt so overwhelmed that you just end up in a ball. I mean, even if not emotionally in a ball, but definitely, I mean, if not physically in a ball, definitely emotionally in a ball. And it's just like, you know, sucking your thumb, oh my gosh, it's just too big. All right? And I think it's very common for a lot of folks where life, what's going on in life is just too big for me to be able to process it. And so what we want to do, as we've been talking about, is expand our capacity to process greater and greater complexity. So even though big things go on, it doesn't mean they don't affect me. I am just fine, all right? But I don't crater. I don't just shut down and life doesn't fall apart. Even though life is falling apart, I don't fall apart. Fair enough? Okay. And what we are, as we talked about last week, the idea with the truth wall is, in the midst of life's circumstances, life's struggles, and life's difficulties, truth, this capital T truth, creates two things for us, two P's for us. First of all, it gives us perspective, so that we can stand on top of the truth wall and look at what's going on through the lens of perspective. But also, the truth wall, the second P that it gives us is protection. So, boom, perspective and protection. So, when all of these things that, oh gosh, you better know what I'm talking about, all these like negative thoughts that I carry on, these negative tapes, that talk to me, they're always just kind of nipping at my ears and nipping at my ankles when something happens, like, why does that always happen to me? What's going on? How come? Oh man, there I am again, I'll fail again. And we kind of beat ourselves up with those thoughts, you know? Truth, our capital T truth, we get up on top of that truth and it provides protection for us. So that when those words, when those tapes begin to play, we're able to say, nope, that is not true. Circumstantially, it may be going on, but it's not the truth about me. Fair enough? Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys if you would be willing to share some of your truth with me. Okay? Actually, hold on to that thought. I'm going to ask you that in a minute, so be thinking about it. You might still be going, I'm not going to say anything in this group. Okay, it's okay. But, so we've read the book. Did anybody by any chance get into the first chapter in the book? Okay? So it's just kind of laying out, here's what it's going to look like to start growing. Kind of lays out the process, a little bit of what we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago. Anybody read the appendix on journaling? Appendix B on journaling?
Started it.
Okay, what's that?
I started it.
You started to read it? Okay. How about this? Did anybody by any chance attempt to do some journaling?
I bought a journal.
Fantastic. It's a good step. It's a good step. Did a little bit of journaling. Anybody else? Do some writing? Okay, good. So again, it's going to be so important for us to keep track of the path. Keep track of your learning. Because I promise you there's going to come a time in the future where somebody's going to come to you and going to say, can you help me? Can you help me with this? And you're going to go, yes, I can. Because I've been through that, and I remember going through it, and I remember how I got out of it. So, first step, we're going to do this. I can't do that. I know, I used to think the same thing. As a matter of fact, I thought this, and I thought that, and I used to do this. Does that sound familiar? Yes. Have you been following me around? No, I just remember doing it as well. So what I did was this. Oh my gosh, this is great. It was so helpful. Does that make sense? And next thing you know, you actually have tools to give somebody because they are things that you use to get you out. It's just really unfortunate when humans get to a certain point in their life where they are feeling fulfilled, they're feeling successful, they're no longer dealing with the heavy pressures that they used to deal with, and you go, oh, how do I do that? How do I get where you are? And they look at you and go, you know, just keep going. It's like, keep going. You know, you just want to kick them. I actually had that happen in a meeting one time. I think I told you guys about it. I was so frustrated with this guy. He just got there. He was like 65, 67 years old. But he didn't keep track of the past, so he had nothing to offer me other than I was lucky and I just kept going. It's like, well, okay, I guess I'll just hope for luck then. And it's just unfortunate. Okay? So, any comments? Any questions? Remember we talked about the importance of having questions.
I did have one question about chapter in the book.
Sure.
About the making new room for more information.
Yeah.
It says you have to get rid of old information.
Yes.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? And that's what we're getting ready to start talking about as we bring in the truth. Because what we're going to do, now you have actually started writing down some truth, some capital T truth about yourself. Okay? However, to just take that and start putting it into your brain is probably not going to work, because your brain is already full of other stuff. And so a lot of times when we approach learning, and we do this because we were taught really well in our educational system, all right? Again, love teaching, think we've got the best educational system in the world, but it has its limitations. We are all about add-on thinking. We go to a conference and go, oh, that'll be wonderful. We just add it on. We go someplace else, oh, that'll be great. We read a good book, oh, that'll be neat. Kyle says something really wisdom, like a Yoda or something like that. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. And we just add it all on, but then we wonder why we're not able to follow it, why it's not making a difference in our life. And that's because we just added on a whole bunch of thoughts, but those thoughts are not actually changing the way we believe. Fair enough? Okay? So what we need to do is discover what needs to come out of our brain and replace it with new things. So it's replacement thinking more than it is just add-on thinking. And that's where it takes some discernment, and I'll go ahead and toss out, it really does take somebody with a third-party view to help you discover what needs to come out and what needs to go in. Because if it's left all to yourself, it'll all just be one big jumbled mess. And most of us carry around a ton of conflicting thoughts. Yes, I believe this. Oh, really? Well, what about this? Well, I believe that too. It's like, those are directly opposed to one another. Yeah, but it just depends on the situation. It's like, oops, that can't be the best. Okay? So, thank you for asking the question. Does that help? We're going to tie into that a little bit today. Another question. Questions always reveal that you're processing stuff and not just, okay, I understood what he said. I don't have any questions. The language you're using, I understand. I understand English. I understand your grammar. Is anybody processing this and actually implementing this to the point where you're going, yeah, that didn't quite fit, and you have a question about
I thought a lot of it made sense.
it? Okay.
It's relatable.
Cool. Did we talk about the 3 A's? Accepting, agreeing. Did we talk about this?
Mhm.
Oh, we didn't. Okay. Well, let me just toss these out. I thought we did, but if we didn't, let me just toss them out really
The very
quick.
first time?
Okay.
Yeah.
New
Raising your
thinking. Okay, or new ideas, new thoughts. There are 3 levels, okay? All 3 of them are good. However, only one of them leads to change in our life. The first one is to accept the new thought. Yeah, that's a new thought. Wow, had never thought of that before. That right there is a new thought. Wow. New. Whoa. Wow. New thought. That's just accepting that something is new. Unfortunately, most people feel like recognizing that something is new is the same as, that's going to change my life. No, it's not. It won't. It won't change you at all. It's just something that's shaking you a little bit. Fair enough? So we want to move to the next level, which is to agree. We talked about these when we were doing the core values. It's one thing to accept the core values. Yeah, those are good, core values. It's another thing to agree with them. I really like those. Those are really good. Agreeing is saying, yes, I like that. I want that to be a part of me. I want to do this. I want to have this a part of my thinking. We agree that it is true. And then finally, the last one is align. This is when we actually align our choices according to the new thinking. This is what brings change. Not this. Accepting and agreeing, those will never bring change. They'll bring frustration. How come I keep doing that? I've been to all these workshops. I've been to rehab. I've done this and I've done that. You know, done all these things. I've seen so many people. I've had so many folks and all that kind of stuff. But we never did align. This was my problem. 47 years of my life. I resisted the aligning because I wanted to do my own thing. I got it. Good. I'll handle. Okay? So, this is where we're wanting to head. So, as we are talking about things, I like the idea of, what was it you said just a moment ago? The concepts of things you were learning. There was some language that I wanted to grab hold of there that you said. You like them, you agreed with them, you're going, those were really good.
They were relatable.
Relatable. Yes, I could really relate. See, that's all up in here. That's all up in here. And then this is, I actually tried to do it in my life. And that's where questions are going to come. But again, all the way through school, you understand? Yeah, I get it, I get it, I get it. But it's actually when you take the test. Man, wouldn't it be great if we could ask questions during a test? Because that's when we're actually trying to implement the information that we've learned. That's when questions come up. Okay? So that's why I always interpret when people are asking questions, it means that they are actually trying to align. They're processing and trying to align. Whether it's through the week, you're trying to actually implement it into your action, your activities, or even while we're sitting here today, new thoughts are coming to you, and you're actually processing, okay, if that's true, then that means this, and that means, and then that would have to be, and then I would have, whoa, I would have to do this. Question, are you saying that I've got to do this? Does that make sense? Just lets me know people are processing. Go. Okay. So, any other questions? Anything else we need to talk about before we move forward?
I don't have a question, but I remember whatever we talked about.
Cool.
When you talked about like having like the different pools of, you know, like you look at yourself.
Yes.
Like I feel like that really kind of hit because I was
Isn't that
like,
great?
some places in my life I'm like, yeah, this is all great, and I look at others, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's kind of shallow
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
It's like the circles.
Yeah, all those little circles. I remember vividly that vision that I had. I mean, it was just really crazy. I was looking from the top. Everything looked full. Oh, it's awesome. But then that side view let me know, ooh, wait a minute. This is a whole new perspective, a whole new way of looking at it. Okay?
And then you think about like when people like, you see those videos of people like jumping into puddles and they jump and sometimes they go
Yeah.
all the way in. Like
Uh-huh.
that's what I just
Yeah.
pictured.
And if we're not careful, we'll just look from the top and go, I'm good. Looks like everything's going well. But then we don't even think that we need to come to the side to look, oh my gosh. Speaking of that, let me give you guys a bookmark while you're reading, okay? I know. How fun. Over there,
I was like, wait, asking that.
there.
Are that wrong?
Yeah, and in the center of this is another little wheel. I call it the wheel of life, okay? And you can do another little survey to find out which pools may be a little bit more shallow than other pools, all right? And so that can help you set up some goals over this next 3 to 6 months to a year of things that you want to focus on, areas where you want to grow to begin doing, as we said, Amanda, this replacement thinking, okay? So.